With all our hearts, we pray and ask. God bless Anambra. God bless the shining light that we bear. We're the only ones to make her brighter, the only ones to make her better, the only ones to make Anambra shine. With our sweat and blood, every breath of our lives, we've trust in God. We will lift our homeland high. We believe in togetherness. We'll build a land.
The fire of the agricultural revolution kindled by Governor Willie Obiano has placed Anambra State on the agricultural map of the continent. The journey to this remarkable feat started when Governor Obiano made agriculture the #1 pillar of his economic blueprint.
Agriculture is critical because for obvious reason, if you check everywhere that has developed, agriculture plays a critical role because of the capacity of agriculture to employ people and of course for food scarcity issues, you know. So agriculture is a critical point in my pillar. So I want everybody in Anambra to be fully engaged. We have to have food in commercial quantity. We want to export some of those items to get money, you know, and increase our GDP as a state, you know, and thereby helping to increase the GDP of the country.
Determined to harness the huge agro potentials of the state, Governor Obiano set up a 14-member committee on agriculture after barely 4 days in office. He charged the committee with the responsibility of producing a roadmap for a comprehensive development of agriculture in the state. In a distinct interpretation of the governor's big idea for agriculture in the state, the committee produced the Anambra State Agricultural Transformation Blueprint with the goal of ensuring food security and job creation through mechanized farming and the establishment of agro-allied industries.
If you don't know where you are going to, you won't know the road, you won't know when you've reached your destination. So a roadmap is the first thing you need to do if you want any transformation. So it was very important that the state had one for agriculture. I had an idea of his own visions and milestones and pillars, and I know that he made agriculture his #1 pillar. So it was obvious to me that he needed a very clear roadmap, and that was somebody who was trying to chart a new way of administration, not just the normal, you come in traditionally, you keep this. He needed to have milestones so as to assess himself and be able to know that he's doing the right thing or not.
With a well-articulated blueprint in place, agriculture suddenly became one of the most sought-after investment windows, as Anambra State is endowed with a vast expanse of land, which is almost 100% arable. Indeed, Governor Obiano's new agricultural revolution, which lays greater emphasis on mechanized farming, represents a clear paradigm shift.
That touched across, dealing with the ability of the environment and where what does best, you know, in the state. And also that also gave a focus and a direction as to where agriculture in Anambra State would go. So all the focus and drives that we have in Anambra State is just going by that Bible blueprint.
Anambra State is making efforts to open up areas that will support the siting of mechanized farms and agro-allied industries, with the building of bridges and the construction of roads. This will avail farmers easier access to evacuate their produce to bigger markets.
My predecessor did quite some roads, and I continued with the roads that he awarded. The only challenge that we slowed down in a couple of them because of obvious in the economy, you know. But there are focus roads that we are doing that are going towards agro areas, because it's very critical. You don't have all these farms and all this food we are talking about, and these people won't find a way to bring it to the city, and that's why we are doing the roads that we are doing in the Anambra North area, in the Yorumba areas. All the roads are awarded are towards specific targets, either it's going to industrial layouts, or they are going to farmlands, or they are going to open up agrarian community, or going straight to the oil field, as you know. So it's very important to do roads that way. With that, you maximize the economic potential of that road.
So it's hardly surprising that investors, both local and foreign, have come to take advantage of the investor-friendly policies of the Obiano administration, coupled with a safe and peaceful atmosphere occasioned by the high intolerance of crime and criminality. Agriculture makes a great demand on land, and with Anambra's landmass of only 4,448 square kilometers, it takes careful planning to find enough land for mechanized farming. Same with the siting of industries. But Governor Obiano demonstrated great vision when he set up the Anambra Land Acquisition Committee to work in conjunction with the Anambra State Investment Promotion and Protection Agency, ANSIPA, to overcome this problem.
And what he did was also wonderful for the people. You don't just give your land and go home. He made sure that the land will be properly utilized by a developer, not the government, by a developer who has the money and means to develop that land. And when you mean means, who has also the capability of accessing funds. So what they do is that the community that has the land will perpetually be a member of that company by owing 2.5% equity in that company for life, as long as that company existed.
Through ANSIPA, Obiano's one-stop investment streamroller, the following companies have made significant contributions of over $1 billion to the investment pool of Anambra State through agriculture. They are Cooperatives Farms, $200 million, Novtech Farms Limited, $50 million, Joseph Agro Limited, $180 million, Excel Farms Limited, $250 million, Dell Farms and Songhai Farms Limited, $150 million, Silos and Grains, $40 million, Linden Integrated Farms, $180 million, Tri-City Integrated Farms, $11.4 million, MIP Farms and Greenhouse Limited, $8.5 million. The state government's collaboration with all these 9 firms is a realization of Governor Obiano's goal of collaborating with the private sector in driving his agricultural revolution. Anambra can now boast of large industrial rice farms run by Cooperatives and Joseph Agro Limited. The partnership has taken local rice production to over 190,000 metric tons, with a target of 210,000 metric tons by the end of the 2016 farming season.
We've done well in rice. When I took over, the rice production in Anambra was 80,000 metric tons, and today it's about 210 metric tons of rice. And as you're aware, we now have Anambra rice. And that's a very motivating thing for us.
Joseph Agro Limited has taken over the 2 moribund rice mills in the state, one in Omo and the other in Ufuma. The Ufuma mill is now operational, and the company is reconstructing its structures to install a bigger new automated rice mill. The Omo rice mill will soon be resuscitated, as an MOU with the manufacturers has been signed in faraway Thailand. This will increase its milling capacity.
About 2 years ago, we signed an MOU. It was an agro-allied MOU. It was to then take over certain farms in Anambra State and resuscitate some mills. This farm, which you see here, is an old World Bank farm. As you see, there are old infrastructures that were built by the World Bank. But when we then took over this farm, it was more or less a jungle, full of snakes, full of tortoises. and we're able to do a lot of clearance work. So what we are doing is resuscitation work. We have, in this section, we have about 100 outgrowers. This is the Nyuka side. The other side, we have about 150. So it's about 1 farmer per hectare. So about 300 farmers.
With the current intensive drive and focus, Anambra will soon surpass the annual figure of 320,000 metric tons of rice consumed in the state. It's just a matter of time. It's a known fact that the availability of adequate water is a basic necessity in rice cultivation. Anambra can become a major producer of rice in the country if the Lower Anambra Irrigation Project, which comes under the Anambra-Imo River Basin Development Authority, is resuscitated and made to operate at full capacity. The multi-billion naira project, which nestles by the serene Omambala River in Ifito-Ogwari, is owned by the federal government and was commissioned by former President Ibrahim Babangida in 1987. The Lower Anambra Irrigation Project has the capacity to provide adequate water from the Omambala River to all the rice farms in Anaku, Omo, Omasi, Ifito-Ogwari and beyond, which will support large-scale triple-season rice cultivation and confirm the status of the state as a major producer of rice in the country.
And so, but specifically, we know that when it was functioning, we were able to, our farmers were able to do at least double, triple season farming. Now, what we are asking and what we are looking to do as a state is, if this becomes very functional, one, it would drive so much interest coming back into agriculture. It will help us now to increase our yield. Our production will now triple, because with this we're sure we will be able to do at least 3-time farming. As a matter of fact, if you go down into a more environment, you realize that some of our farmers are even doing 2-season farming as it is. So when this comes on board, if you look at the channel at which it's gone round, you will realize that the produce and agro production in Anambra State will just take a different scope.
Meanwhile, Lyndon Integrated Farms is currently installing ultra-modern facilities in its poultry farm in Ibariam. When completed, it will be the largest producer of poultry meat and eggs east of the Niger. Similarly, Bell Farm Limited, in conjunction with Songhai Regional Center, is cultivating highly lucrative cash crops with the intention of developing a local full-scale multi-farm business concern which will combine agricultural technology, industry and hospitality services. The good news from Bell Farm is that Anambra State has now started producing wheat in commercial quantity. The other good news is that very soon, the sorghum produced in Del Farm in Ibariam shall be used in brewing beer in Sabmila breweries in Onitsha.
Interfact breweries, the guys that make hero beer, are trying to engage them fully to be the local source for their raw materials for the beer they brew. And by the way, Interfac is doing 2.2 million hectoliters a year, 2.2 million hectoliters. So you can imagine the sorghum that will support that. It's massive. So that's employment for the youths, that's development for the area, that's money for that's IGR for the Anambra State government.
Talks have reached advanced levels for a perfect synergy between the two companies that will save Nigeria a lot of foreign exchange expended in importing this basic raw material for brewing beer from outside the country. That is the power of vision. At the same time, Anambra State has linked 3,000 cooperatives to institutions offering credit facilities such as FADAMA and the International Fund for Agricultural Development, IFAD. 2,000 hectares of land have been developed, with 58,000 farmers now having access to medium-scale modern irrigation schemes to encourage dry season farming. Indeed, the fire of the agricultural revolution kindled by Governor Willie Obiano in Anambra State continues to rage as more investors are coming to take advantage of the rich potentials of the state. The most recent arrival is MIP Farms and Agro-Allied Limited, with whom the state government signed a Memorandum of Understanding (MOU) for the development of 10 hectares of greenhouses, 10 hectares of net houses, and 10 hectares of open field cultivation of vegetables. The Obiano Agric model encourages the use of outgrowers whose resilience and enterprise complement the larger farms to complete a circle of a neatly organized sector that draws strength from within itself. To further encourage the local farmers, outgrowers have been persuaded to form cooperatives and register with the Ministry of Agriculture, Mechanization, Processing and Export in order to enjoy government incentives. They are imputed into the ministry's robust online platform.
Being a precision executive, His Excellency, who wants to see the figures, who wants to see the yield, we began to validate these cooperatives to qualify them to become what they should be, and that we moved further to make sure that we did the validations. We went into the fields, did a geomap of these fields to qualify them. Well, you know, in Anambra State we have these 3 staple crops: rice, cassava, and maize. For now, we have been able to validate over 15,000 cooperatives for cassava, and for rice we've done over 13,000 cooperatives validated, and for maize we're doing about 5,000 cooperatives. So these are our staple crops. Other ones filter around. And with that, we now be able to now look at the evaluating what we're doing in the ministry and drive using the blueprint to accelerate and have a proper focus as to what we're doing.
From here, the registered cooperatives and the standalone farmers are monitored real-time. Text messages or robocalls can be sent to each and every farmer, while the ministry can receive feedbacks through the same platform. The ministry also makes house calls on all the farmers on their radar, giving the commissioner and his monitoring evaluation team a first-hand knowledge of how the farmers are faring.
So previously, how have you engaged and what sort of production capacity have you done before we stepped in?
Before the partnership with the ministry, we've not gone beyond 5 hectares.
Really? Okay.
And knowledge base, not up to what we have now. You know, we have ample knowledge on the management and care of the produce.
So effectively, you're happy with the extent?
Very much happy.
And your cooperative members, everybody is pretty clear?
Excited about the relationship.
Fantastic. Thank you very much.
Welcome,
we're expecting
sir.
in the next couple of weeks, we're going to coming back here during your harvest time. Your vitamin A variety maize over there also.
Should be ready by about that.
Ready about that time.
As would be expected, Governor Obiano's agricultural revolution has started creating success stories. One remarkable success story is Stein Industries Limited, a recipient of the ASBA SME loan, who won the best rice in Africa at the African Products Forum 2016 held at Lagos early this year, with the brand of rice known as Anambra rice.
Anambra State rice is a household name now. In the Anambra, we eat Anambra rice. And so you would realize that when people that eat Anambra rice, on the Anambra that eat Anambra rice, I've been to like Lagos, we've been to various places where you have in the Anambra, and they eat our rice. Our rice is actually, a matter of fact, just a little bit of them in Europe and US. Some people who come in on holidays and eat it, they take it home. We're getting calls from Sierra Leone, Liberia, Aba as it is, asking for Anambra State rice.
Many more agricultural success stories are sprouting every day as young people take to farming under the powerful inspiration of Governor Willie Obiano. Recently, Governor Obiano made a bold move to deepen the agricultural sector in the state. Flagging off the 2016 farming season, the governor gave out checks ranging from 300,000 naira to 5 million naira to cooperatives registered with the Ministry of Agriculture, Mechanization, Processing and Export. The checks were drawn from the 1 billion naira microcredit scheme of the Central Bank of Nigeria, which is competently managed by an agency set up by the governor known as the Anambra Small Business Agency, ASBA. Governor Obiano also distributed improved cassava stems and rice seedlings worth over 2 million naira to various farmers' cooperative societies. That will guarantee a higher yield of produce in the coming harvest season.
What I haven't said and what we want to do is I want to encourage the people doing Efibo, Igbo cow, Efibo, to grow it in large quantity. We're going to give them money, so that in 2 years we'll stop importing any form of Efi from anywhere. It's also Efi in Anambra, and you can see the beautiful Efibo displayed there all over the place. And we also want to encourage Ewibo or Kuibo. All those things they are going to come back in what we are doing.
The second phase of the ASBA microcredit scheme has since commenced with the disbursement of 1 billion naira. This scheme is targeted at micro enterprises from all sectors, including cottage industries, artisans, trade and commerce, services, agricultural value chain, economically active people with disabilities, and other viable businesses with a maximum asset base of 5 million naira.
We're into production of oil, palm oil. We are happy to be one of the beneficiaries today. And I pray that the money given to us, the sum of 3,755,000 given to us, will be used judicially.
I feel very, very happy, very, very overwhelmed. In fact, I didn't know how to explain, but I didn't know that it's going to be a dream that comes true. But since it has been a dream come true, I'm very, very happy. Very, very happy. I'm more than happy.
The fund also caters for unemployed youths that have undergone training via state-sponsored agric programs to empower them as entrepreneurs and make them self-reliant. The government has trained over 1,000 youth in various modern agric techniques and best practices, including aquaculture. Anambra is set to surpass the fish requirements of the state. Governor Obiano's vision of making Anambra the largest fish producer east of the Niger is becoming a reality, with the potential to have fish tourist centers sited in all local government areas.
Yeah, like one of the coincidences of nature. You are doing something and you're just doing it on your own, and suddenly you find out that somebody up there is thinking in the same direction and brings out a blueprint, a way forward, and you look at it and you find out that it's just ideal with your own thinking. It's just the meeting of minds, which is good enough, and we're keen in.
Seeing the potentials of exporting produce from Anambra, the Ministry of Agriculture, Mechanization, Processing and Export has since established an export desk to provide a perfect link between the local farmers and the foreign markets, where the supply of certain farm produce from Anambra are in great demand.
We are the link persons between the buyers and the farmers. We go to identify the locations and the farmers and what crops they produce. Then get these off-takers on whatever crop they want to buy. Get them come along and train our farmers on the ways they want the crops to be produced organically. Farm hygiene, food and health safety. And in collaboration with ABS World and some other UK team like Eagle Solution, Bush Produce, they have also assisted us in making this possible. It's possible in the sense that most of our farmers before now produce this vegetable, they don't have markets. Sometimes when they get to the market, they are priced so much low that they can't sell most, and they dump it there and go crying back. But our governor has put a smile on their face.
The Ministry of Agriculture, in collaboration with technical partners with expertise in exporting produce from Nigeria, have visited various communities throughout the state to ascertain where certain vegetables could be cultivated in commercial quantities and provide crucial training and orientation that will make the farm produce from the state conform to international specifications. They found out that the best grade of Ogo is cultivated in Onono in Anambra West and in Obaru local government areas.
I'm grateful to the governor for taking the initiative to want to propel this beautiful state to the world, and his honorable commissioner
Commissioner Afam, who came to meet us in the UK to see where we're actually based. Our purpose here today was to come and see where the ugu that was sent to the UK came from. I work with schools and with the market in the UK, and I was so impressed with the quality of the ugu that came out of Anambra State. It was soft, it's almost like softer than spinach, and I wanted to come and see the people who actually produce these beautiful products and see how we can work together to get this out to the world market.
We found out that Anambra, this particular brand, happens to be, I'll call it the best. Because when I say the best, in terms of the softness, and when we use it to juice, the juice was fantastic.
Anambra farmers are fast adopting the best practices in cultivating crops in a manner that has met international standards for export. This bitter leaf Onubu farm in Abatete and St. Leaf Nchawon farm in Obaru are among many farms in the state which are part of the Anambra State Export Program.
Sometimes last year, around December time, so they call us for training. Understand? Anambra State government, they invite some people from UK. They came, they taught us how to maintain our farm and how to make it more organic than inorganic. That organic materials are being used in the UK market. Like these ones now you're seeing, it's purely organic. When it undergoes the process of washing it now, it will be very, very sweet and greenish and soft also.
It was therefore no surprise when Anambra State made headlines on January 21st this year with the export of its first certified consignment of vegetables, ugu and onubu, bitter leaf, in commercial quantity to the United Kingdom. This marked the turning point in Governor Obiano's quest to make Anambra State a top 3 agricultural state in Nigeria.
First thing we have to do to export agricultural product, or maybe let me say, let me put it this way, vegetables. You have to have some kind of certification. The farmers have to know the do's and the don'ts involved in what they are into or what they are about to go into. So the first thing we did, getting these farmers trained and certified. I know a lot of people are curious about the $5 million stuff. First of all, if you're looking at the value, when they go on to say $5 million, people looking at the value of $5 million, there's a lot involved in that $5 million. The logistics setup, there's so many things involved in the $5 million. And as a matter of fact, the $5 million is not by Anambra State government. It's a private sector. People like you and I came in here, did their business. So $5 million is not the profit made by Anambra State government. It's not the revenue made by Anambra State government. It's business that the Anambra State government created the enable environment for people to do.
The Ministry of Agriculture is looking to increase the number of fresh produce that will be exported, invariably increasing the revenue of the farmers and the state's IGR. The intense investment drive, coupled with the investor-friendly policies of the governor of Anambra State, Chief Willie Obiano, has not gone unnoticed by the investment community. Among several foreign trade missions that came calling, a strong team of international businessmen from Thailand came to take advantage of the growing investment opportunities in the state. The delegation comprised of 32 men and women from 13 Thai businesses with vast interests cutting across oil and gas, agriculture, as well as agricultural equipment manufacturing, among other interests. The delegation's visit to the famous Onitsha main market, which is unarguably the largest retail market in West Africa, brought the members of the delegation up close within the Anambra. Ambassadors Chilat Limsombun and Chudi Okafor were conferred with chieftaincy titles to cement the ties between the Thai business community and Anambra State. Indeed, it is no longer in doubt that Anambra State is marching solidly into its manifest destiny under the powerful watch of Governor Willie Obiano. It has also become clearer that Nigeria can no longer allow the vagaries of international oil prices determine the happiness of her people.
We have already put Anambra on the map with respect to agriculture. Our vision, like I did tell you, is to be one of the top 3 states in Nigeria that should be known for quality rice production. You know, of course, the same as maize and cassava, and many more. You know, so I'm very, very happy and excited about what we are doing in agriculture, and our people are very happy because most of the youths are now engaged.
At least in Anambra State and a handful of other states across the country, a new window of economic prosperity has been forced open through a strong focus and commitment to agriculture. This is the story of Willie Obiano's agricultural revolution in Anambra State, a story of vision, passion, and commitment to the emergence of a prosperous Anambra State.